Yay!
Okay, there we go. We are live. I'm just waiting for YouTube to catch up. Should be any second now. A little slow today. Oh, hey, Siobhan.
Hello.
Wow, it's still not live. What is happening?
Let me just have a look. See what.
Let me refresh my page.
It's on me at the moment. Live wire.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. I needed to refresh my page, so there we go. All right, I'll click on me for 1 second.
A little bit slow. Oh,
hey, everyone. I am here live with the wonderfully talented Ian Jackson. And we're going to be doing a few different things today. Ian's got a wonderful drawing that he's working on there, and he's going to be doing some watercolor. And I'm going to be making some embellishments and a bit of mixed media on my embellishments. So that's what we're up to today. So, and I'm going to be making some fairy wings, which is what these are for. And Ian, the link to his channel is in the description box below, so please go over and sub to him if you're not already.
Oh, yes. It's time to get myself. I'd love it if I could get myself organized before all these things happen.
Oh, me too. I was busy doing stuff this morning, you know, half an hour ago. Just didn't get it. It's been so terribly hot here that we haven't really gotten much done around the house or anything.
Well, we've just been told that we've got another couple of weeks of this hot weather that we're having. And they're breaking all sorts of temperature records. So, oh dear.
Yeah, here too. Here too.
I don't really like very hot temperatures because we don't tend to have air conditioning here.
Yes, and I'm glad we did, because on the weekend with the humidex, it was 116, like it was 47 C.
Wow.
With the humidex. Hey, 40. Kim. Hey, Marlene. All right, I've clicked over on you, Ian, if you want to talk about what you're up to today.
I don't know if I can. What I've been doing over the last day or two is preparing a drawing, and obviously you've got your knight in shining armor on a horse here. I don't know if you can properly see that, but yep. It's made up of obviously separate sections. So the castle, I couldn't find a castle that didn't look like Walt Disney's or something like that, or alternatively a ruin. You know, I mean, all pictures I tried. So I ended up making one up from various bits. So I've been on Photoshop and I've ended up making myself a composite image, and then I've drawn it out onto the paper. This paper is, if I'll turn it around and show it you, and it's highly recommended. This, I've only recently got it, but it is good. Heimula. Now, is that the right way on for everybody?
Yeah. Yeah.
In my screen, it's backwards. So, but I can see that on the other thing. So it's Heimula, and it's 300 grams, and that's for you over in the US. That's £140, and it's on rough paper, so it's got a rough texture. This, so it's not for doing high detail. So what I'm going to do is do a very loose painting, special ink background, and then closing on detail. But the horse itself and the rider are almost silhouettes, so it won't be difficult. So you start very pale in the background and get slightly darker, and then darker still. And then when you get to horse and the night, that'll be even more darker, intense.
Cool.
That will give you your sense of depth.
I love watercoloring.
So the only thing I've got to do now at this moment in time is get myself some nice fresh water, because it looks like a pit of yuckiness at the moment. So I'll be back in a minute or two.
All righty, I'll click back over on me while you get your water.
All right. I could get myself some water.
Hey, Amanda. Good to see you. So I'm going to be making some fairy wings. I'm doing an embellishment swap in the Angel Dream Crafts Facebook group, and you will find the link to that group in the description box below this video. So if you want to come over and join us there, that would be great. We're doing our very first swap, and that is an embellishment box. So the lady that I'm swapping with loves gothic type things and mystical type things. So I'm making some fairy wings. And this is a kind of a fly by the seat of my pants here. Hey, Olivia. Good to see you, sweetheart. This is kind of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of embellishment, because I've never made these before. But I have an idea in my head, so I'm hoping it will translate into an embellishment that works. So we'll see what happens. But and in the Angel Dream Crafts Facebook group, I always share the digitals that I use on my class. So if you're in the group, you can get these wings, and you will also be able to get these beautiful circle embellishments that, if I have time, I'm going to work on, because these are another one that I'm going to do for my swap. And I have made these before. I have a video on these on my channel. So if I have time, I'm going to do these. And the lovely Siobhan, who is playing buttons, shared those with me. So thank you, Siobhan. So that's what's happening here with me. So I think these wings, let me start with this one first. These wings are like that. There we go. And then you also get a set of tiny ones. So I thought what I would do is layer the tiny ones on top. And I'm going to add some glitter. And I've got some gold mica powder that I'm going to use. And I've got some crushed seashells, which you can get on eBay. And they're under nail art. Yeah, the circles are beautiful, and they'll be in the group too, Kim. So just so you know. I've also got stickles, I've got glitter, I've got sequins I'm going to put on them. So, and for the antenna, I've got all these stamens in silver, mint green, pink, and white, and blue. So I'm going to use those for the antenna. So that's where I'm at the moment. So let me get started, and we'll see where we can go with these. I'm not sure if I need to mount these on something. I'm wondering. I don't want to have to cut them out again, but I think they'll be okay if I just kind of glue them together. And I'm going to use some of the tacky glue. Yeah, the crushed seashells, they're fun for mixed media, Olivia. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the back of that and just kind of gently put them together like that, because of course I need them to stick together. Now I may end up putting like a little circle of felt or something on the back just to kind of hold that together, so it makes it a bit more sturdy. And then when she goes to use them on in fact, I think I'm going to do that, because now that I'm doing this, I see it's probably going to need it. So let me get some felt and I will cut that out. And you're back, Ian?
I am, yes.
All right. I'll click back on you for a minute while I get some felt.
Essential equipment.
You got your water? Yeah, water's an essential thing for watercolor.
And the dabber cloth. You've got to have a dabber cloth.
Now, what kind of watercolor paint do you use?
I use a lot of different paints, but at the moment I'm testing out some paints that are called SAA.
SAA.
By an organisation in Britain that it's like an art club, but they make their own paints, and these are really good. They're as good as the commercial things that are around at the moment, but they're not half the price. So
interesting.
If people want to have a look into that, I don't know. I don't know how. I think they do send things over to America, but it's mainly a thing in Britain.
Now, I might be able to get them here because I'm in Canada and we do get a lot of British product here.
Yeah. Well, it's called the SAA, the Society for All Artists.
Yeah.
So that's these are their paints in a cheap. You don't have to have a major setup, but one of those. They're called Reeves. The case I've got them in, it's a Reeves one, and this is just as good as anything else.
Nice.
So, and that's only £4.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, I have got watercolors from just like the Michaels brand, which is I'm sure as you know, a craft store in America and Canada. And I bought that a couple of years ago and I love it. And I've also got some watercolors from Shimmers and Lindy's. No, not Lindy's, just Shimmers, I believe. And I love the Shimmers watercolors because there's a lot of mica powder in them, so you get that really nice, of course, shimmer.
They're made fairly specifically for crafting watercolors. Then for journaling and that, because they're quite opaque as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't use them because the paintings at the end of the day, they have to be light fast, and some of those crafting watercolors are not. They're not meant to be shown up. They're meant to be in journals and things like that.
Right.
So they're okay in them, but as soon as you expose them to light for any period of time, the colours fade. So that's the reason why professional grade paints have to be used on watercolors. There's nothing wrong with them being used on in journals and things like that. That's fine. That's what they're made for, because they're not going to get that light intensity hitting them. But these have to be a lot more robust if they're going to be on a wall.
Right. Oh, okay. I did not know that. That is really interesting.
Oh yeah, light in watercolor painting, light fastness is really important.
Okay. Good to know.
There's different types of watercolor painting. If you're putting it on a wall, like what this would be meant for, then it has to be. If you're going to be working in a journal, a personal journal or art journal, then it don't really matter. So.
Oh, well, that's good to know. So now, do you have a favorite type of watercolor paper that you use?
Do you know, I go from one type to another because I find each different type of paper has its own quirkiness. And if you're thinking about a particular end product, you think about the actual paper itself and go, yeah, that's good at doing that. So there's no one paper that can say, "Oh yes, I'm the absolute best," because you hear people saying, "Oh, Archers and um, Saunders Waterford and things like that," but I like to mix it around with various different papers. This one today, it's you'll hear two different types of paper: 100% cotton and 100% cellulose. Well, this one's 100% cellulose. This one today that I'm working on.
Now, does
Uh,
the weight of the paper make much of a difference? Because I
it,
know there's
it
a lot of different watercolor weights of paper.
it can do, yeah. If you put in a lot of water on your work and you really like doing tons of wet work, then you're best off going for something that's above uh, 300 grams, or what they call in US the 140-pound weight.
Yeah.
Go above that. But under normal circumstances, if you're just doing a general watercolor, the 300 stroke 140-pound paper is fine. But again, I've recently started getting hold of. It's very expensive. The bigger the weight, the more expensive the paper. I've just started getting hold of what they call 400-pound paper, and that does not budge at all. You could put it in a bath of water, and it'd still stay rigid. It's like hardboard.
Oh, right, like artboard. Yeah. Okay.
Um, it all depends on what you're trying to put, how much water you want to put on it. If you know you're going to have a
Right.
lot of wet work, then you need something a bit more robust than your lightweight papers. And when I mean lightweight papers, the beginning paper for watercolor is at £90,
Okay.
and that's the very minimum. If you're going to be serious about using water, a lot of water in your work, that's the very minimum you need. And that may need stretching as well, which is a process that you do to keep it flat. But this, it don't really matter how much I wet it, because it's a block. It's a block of paper.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's all glued together until
Yeah.
I tear it out. So it will go back down.
Oh, okay.
Although I have had some come off the block sometimes with amount of water I've used. It's literally had enough power to peel it off. So, just showing you some other examples of what I've got watercolor wise. These are your classic tins.
Yeah.
These are Jackson's Art Supply watercolors, which are a cracking set of paints, really good. And again, they're not expensive in comparison to some big names. But when it comes to big names and all that sort of stuff, I've got a bigger one here, and this is what this one here is, a mixed palette. I've looked at various different companies over years and said, "Oh, Schminker's got a really nice one of these," and "Oh, De La Rooney's got a nice one of them," and
Right.
so these are all made of different paints from different companies, and
Yeah.
that's a kit that I use occasionally.
So you would think that, it's personal preference then.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, most watercolor people who are very intense on watercolor, they pick and choose from different companies, because no one company has the overall market on the best paints. I mean, we talk about like Daniel Smith, and they have got a lot of very good colours, but some of their colours in certain areas are not as good as Schwinker. Now, some of Schwinkers aren't as good as other companies, or Winsor and Newton's got a particular colour that's really nice. But
Right.
that's what you have to work out for yourself, how you work as well.
Yep.
You know, what suits you.
I
The
love
colours.
watercoloring. I think it's one of my other favorite mediums to work in.
It's complicated, but once you get used to it, it gives you so much reward.
It does, because I find with watercolor, you end up being able to mix your own color too, you know,
Yeah.
which I like because, and you get the variations in shade with it really well. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite things.
There's little or no waste either with watercolor.
Yep.
Where at the end of if I were doing a painting like this, I'd probably use up quite with acrylic, for example.
Yeah.
There'd be quite a bit of wastage at the end of it.
Yes, there would.
You can't. I mean, if you're a mixed media artist, you just peel it off and put it on your mixed media painting as a bit too abstract, don't you?
Yep.
There's never such thing as a waste of paint.
That's true.
You can always use it in some other way.
Okay. I'm just going to click on me for a second because I'm going to do, hey, Yorlis. I'm just going to do something for a second, then we'll come back to you. All right, so I'm going to use some of this mica powder, and I love mica powder because you can also mix a little bit of water with this if you like and make your own paint. You can make your own sprays with it. But for this application, I'm using it dry, and I've just got a clean brush here, and you use very, very little of the mica powder. And all I'm going to do is just get a bit on my brush, and I'm just going to rub the edges. And you probably won't see much of it right now until I get the glossy accents on these wings later, as it coats it. And then you'll probably see the shimmer of the mica.
How does it stick to the paper itself when it's dry?
Because it's so incredibly light, it just stays. I don't really know how, but it's so light, and you just kind of rub it on and it stays. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on there.
Is it a little bit like gold leaf, almost like touch sensitive?
Yes, exactly, like gold leaf.
Yeah, I suppose mica powder is a bit like gold leaf, isn't it?
Yes. So I don't know if you'll see it on the pink one here. Let me see if I can do some on this one. Maybe you'll see it on this one. Yeah, this one's showing up a little bit better. Now this is a red gold, so it's kind of like a rose gold color. Not sure if you'll see it. There you go. Can you see it?
I can see the shimmer, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what the look I'm going for on this first layer. And all I've done is put a very tiny piece of felt on the back just to hold the wings together. But they'll end up staying together once I add my glossy accents too. And then the top layer with the smaller wings as well. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I really love these mica powders. And these are from Lindy's Stamp Gang, which I'm sure pretty much everybody's heard of. And they come in tons of different colors. There you can sort of see that shimmer there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing first. And I've just got them sitting on the piece of scrap muslin. Just so they don't float all over my desk.
And with mica powders, right?
Yeah.
Do you take precautions we're wearing any sort of breathing apparatus?
No, no, I don't, because you're using so little of it. Like, I've had these mica powders for probably 4 years, and you can see how much I still have in there.
Mm.
You know, you just use so little of it. I mean, if you have asthma, which I do, or, you know, severe breathing problems like COPD or something, and, you know, you feel you need to do that, then please do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very good point you made
It's
there.
just that occasionally I've been known to make my own paints, watercolor
Yeah,
paint, and the pigments that you get with them, you are instructed to where when you're doing the grinding and the mulling and everything and all that sort of stuff,
right,
you are instructed to wear some sort of breathing like a face mask kind of thing. But
right.
it looks as though it's actually it's not that dissimilar to consistency of makeup anyway, is it? It's
No,
like
mica is in eyeshadow.
yeah.
So, a lot of people buy eyeshadow and crush it up to make their own mica powders and sprays, because the sprays that we get, you know, the Lindy's, you know, or anything like this, they're full of mica powders. You can see it sits on the bottom, and then you shake it up and it moves around. You can see it swirling there. So yeah, you can make your own with just
Mm.
dollar store makeup, or in your case, Poundland makeup.
Oh, hey, it's going under, Poundland. I believe it.
Poundland's going under, really?
Yeah, there's been a right controversy about it.
Oh my goodness.
What
I
we're
was
going to
in
do with that
Poundland when I was in
pound?
the UK and I loved it.
We're going to have to go to everything's £2.
Oh no.
Uh,
That's terrible.
that's that's the economy for us, isn't it?
It really is. Oh, thanks, Amanda.
Oh, mm,
Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I think, is add my glossy accents, and I'll just show one that I'm going to do, and then I'll click back over on Ian, because watching me do that will be a little boring. But all I'm going to do, and I think you can see here, is I'm just taking my glossy accents, and I'm just going to go over top of it. Let me just get these all situated in a place, and then once I've got the glossy accents on, I'm just gonna add some like little seed beads and things like that. So we're just gonna go over top and go right to the edge. And glossy accents is self-leveling, so you don't have to use a brush on it. We're just gonna go over top. I hope you can see. And probably the antenna for these is what I'll put on last, because that would just be a bit of hot glue. And these are going to take a while to dry, so while they're drying, I'll work on the little round discs. So you're just going to cover the whole thing. And I'm trying not to touch the top of the applicator of the glossy accents on the paper. I'm just kind of moving it around and letting it flow out, because I don't want to, turn the mica powder. Now, it's possible the mica powder may mix with the glossy accents if some of it's loose and turn it gold, but that's okay. Like I said, I've never made these before, so it's a fly by the seat of your pants kind of embellishment. So that's all I've done there, and you can see that's going to dry and make a nice glossy sheen. Okay, Yorlis has a question. One, Kim, I got here late, missed the beginning. Kim, the butterflies made on paper or fabric, and did I color them? They're gorgeous. They are a printout, Yorlis, and in the Angel Dream Crafts Facebook group, I will be sharing that later today. But they're just, I believe I got these from the Graphics Fairy.
Now,
I can't remember where I got them.
I'm a bit of a newbie with all this crafting. I have seen them make things like that where you get an hot gun and it bubbles up and creates a glossy finish. Is that what that is, or have you? Because they've got
No, that's using embossing powder, which you can also do. You can put a clear embossing powder over the top. What you would do then is take your piece of paper and you would dip it in a clear ink and get it moist on the top, and then sprinkle your embossing powder over top so it sticks, and then use your heat gun to melt it. This is a liquid that I just find a little easier. It's been out for years and years. It dries clear and a glossy finish, and you get this really nice finish on the end of when it dries. So yeah.
And it stays on. It stays on top and keeps that like embossed finish on top.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's this is a glue. You can use it for glue, or you can use it for this type of an application. And anything you add to it when it's wet will stick to it. Like right now, I'm going to use on this one. I'll just show you. Now that I've got the glossy accents on that one, I'm going to use some of this crushed seashell here, and that's what that looks like.
Is that what that is? Genuine crushed seashell.
Oh, yeah. Pardon? Yeah, it's genuine seashell. Yeah.
I suppose that's got its own iridescence, hasn't it?
It does, yeah.
Inside of shells, they have a lot of shininess.
Yeah, like mother of pearl.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get this on. I got these on eBay, and you just type in nail art because these are for fingernails. And that's where I get a lot of my things from. I get little flowers and all kinds of goodies.
Strangely, in me Facebook feed, you get various types of feeds coming through, and a nail art feed came on this one day, and I've never seen out like it. What you can do with them. I mean, they were really good. It was like a competition that they were in, and wow.
It's amazing what they use now for fingernails. It really is.
There's me thinking painting the nails were just art, but they're creating little works of art on the nails as well.
Exactly.
Three-dimensional
art form, really. I love the coral color too, Siobhan. So I'm just adding a couple of sequins here to this one. And then I'm going to let that one dry, but you can add anything to these. So you just put it on when the glossy accents are wet, and then they'll dry right in the glossy accents. And that's it. I'm afraid to pick it up, but let's see if I can do it. No, I don't think I can. So that's where we're at. Let me move these. Let's do it that way. So there we go. So that's what that looks like so far. You can see it's nice and glimmery. So I'm just going to work on the rest of these, and I will click over on you now, Ian, and you can share what you're up to.
Well, I'm just in a very boring stage of getting rid of all the white on the paper, really. And I know you might hear people say, "Oh, keep your white," but it don't necessarily work like that. It's about yeah, fair enough if you wanted to keep some areas of white. Yeah, but you can always keep white even if you've got colour in it. See, this top area, I've painted all that light yellow. If I painted a dark colour over that, it would make that area that I don't paint very light. So it's relative to what it is that it's painting over.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
I've
trying to
heard
be really.
people say keep a lot of the white too.
Oh yeah, with certain techniques that you do need to keep your white, but in certain other environments that it's not necessary because you're using lighter colours that you've already painted as your white, even though it's not white. It's lighter. It's more important to control your tonal values than it is to get your colours or your dark and your whites right.
Right.
If you get your tonal values right, you're mostly there.
Now, how long have you been an artist, Ian?
I've been drawing and painting since I was a small child. I got my first commissioned work painting small let's call them, plaster of Paris, little nuts with faces on them, and I had to paint them and do all the colouring in them. And that was my first commission work, and I was about 8 or 9 years old when I
Oh,
was doing it.
wow.
So
That must
it
have been
went.
thrilling for you as a child to
Oh
have
yeah,
that.
I thought, oh wow, I'm being paid to do this. Woo!
That's
I
cool.
already do this for nothing. Woohoo! And it went downhill from there, really.
So is watercolor your favorite medium to work with, or?
It is now, but over years, I went to I used to draw a lot and do pastels when I was a young child. We're talking about
Mhm.
6 or 7 year old, and I were introduced to like a youth club where they did art, and the teacher there were really passionate about oils. There weren't very much acrylic around at the time,
Right.
but she were a very passionate oil painter. So I really learned how to do oils, and I did that for quite a few years. But if you know oils, they're clumsy in the sense that they take a long time to do, and it and setting you can't set up like you can and do this and do an oil other than in one session, and it's complicated that uh, because you've got to think about how long something takes to dry and how wet it is and how dry
Right.
it is. Right. You know, there's a thing in oil painting called I'm going to say this wrong, aren't I? Wet, fat over lean.
I'm sorry,
Have
what
you
is it
heard of
called?
it? Fat over lean.
Fat over lean? Okay, I'm not sure what that means.
In oil painting, it starts with oil paint that's just got its own natural oil in it. That's lean, and um, every other subsequent layer that goes over it
Mm-hmm.
has to be fatter, i.e., it has to have more oil in it,
Okay.
and that's what fat over lean means. And the reason why is even within 24 hours, if you leave a painting, it's
Yeah.
still drying. So if you go and put another layer over it, and that's drying at a different rate, it cracks the paint.
Okay. Hello,
So
Ellen and Debbie. Hello.
hello everybody. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm talking and painting, which is more than what I can do. Hello,
Yeah,
everybody.
I hear that.
It's not easy, is it? I don't know how these people who do it regularly are capable of doing it and creating great art as well.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's hard sometimes.
It is, yeah. Because to do your best work, you've got to be in the zone anyway, haven't you?
Yeah,
But,
you do.
and when you're half thinking about what you've got to say when you're talking, then that's a good thing about this. At least you can share the conversation out a little bit.
Yes, exactly. Oh, we've got a bit of an echo.
Oh, have we? Hello? It's not my end, is it?
I can hear myself when I speak.
Right.
Let me turn my microphone on and off and see if that helps. Okay, let's see if that's better. Oh, see, I don't hear it now.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray!
What did you do? Did you put your microphone on? Leave your mic on?
Yeah, somebody told me a couple weeks ago that if you turn it on, it was Marlene actually, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my memory. Hey, Abril, that if you turn it on and off, it may help.
Well, the default position for when you're on live with other people to stop it from doing a cycle is that everyone who's on mutes the YouTube. You know the YouTube.
Yes. Yeah.
If you do that, it shouldn't do it.
Yeah, mine's muted on YouTube, but sometimes it just likes to make an echo. Oh, it's doing it again now.
That might be down to an echo filter on your computer or something. You know, to protect the sound. There's
Yes.
sometimes little echo filters. That might be on.
I'll have to get hubby to look at that. Hubby's the IT guy.
It's difficult at my end to be able to tell anybody what exactly it might be because every computer's set up absolutely differently.
My hubby is the electronics expert in this family. That's what he does.
Uh-huh. I tend to build my own computers when I'm ready to do one.
Oh yeah,
But,
that's what does. There you go.
It's not that difficult, to be frank. If you get all components, you know what the components are. It's just a matter of slotting them in, and there you go. I know it works.
That's where I get stuck though, where to slot things in, because I'd be like, just get hubby to do it.
Well, I mean, the manuals come with full instructions on how to actually do it, but sometimes it's easier to just do it out of your own mind, to be honest with you, because it's mind-boggling some of the things that they're talking to you about. Even as a person who's worked with computers for a lot of years, they try and blind you with science, and it's not that complicated. It's just that thing goes in that slot, and that's it. Just find the code.
Just gonna click on me for a sec.
Uh-huh.
So here I've got everything glossy accented, and I've got some glitter and some little beads and things like that. So there's my wings. But I'm debating on putting the second layer on because I would have to glossy accent these two, which would be probably okay, but I may do these separately and then attach them after they're dry. I think that's probably the best way to do it rather than attach them on the wet glossy accents and then try and glossy accent them. So I think I'll do these separately. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to get a piece of muslin. Do I have a piece here? My basket. Let me cut a piece. There we go. So I'll just lay these out here and do the same thing and just glossy accent these tiny, tiny, tiny little things. Because, oh shoot, just stuck my finger in that. Of course I did, because that's me. That's what I do.
Any kind of glue, I can assure you, I'll get it all over myself.
Right? It's like eating spaghetti with a white shirt on. You can be assured it's going on your shirt.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because honestly, I have spaghetti and such like things like that on a regular basis, and I get it all over myself. And I keep saying, it's one of the messiest foods on the planet. It's lovely, but it's the messiest food on the planet.
I love spaghetti bolognese.
Slurps all over the place.
It sure
But
does.
that's the joy. That's the joy of spaghetti bolognese.
You know what I do miss though? When I was in the UK, I had, of course, I ate when I was there, and my friend who I was staying with, she got these dinner plate size. They were frozen, but they were the size of a dinner plate Yorkshire puddings. And I love Yorkshire pudding.
Yorkshire puddings. That's the very.
Sorry?
Yes, they're lovely. I'm going to cook for Yorkshire puddings because that's where I come from.
Yorkshire? Yeah.
Yorkshire.
I can kind of
Oh,
tell.
and by the way, it's a pudding.
I love Yorkshire pudding.
My
my grandmother and my grandfather were British, and we had Sunday roast every week with Yorkshire pudding and homemade rice pudding.
Yeah,
that was our Sunday lunch every week.
What did you have for your sides?
Oh, we had roasted potatoes and usually a roasted vegetable or Brussels sprouts or peas or, anything like that.
Very good. It's a very wholesome and very filling meal, a Sunday roast.
It sure is. I love it. And of course, gravy.
I'll defy anybody to eat a full Sunday roast. That's why we always leftovers after day after.
Yep.
That's it. That's it.
So I grew up eating Yorkshire pudding, so we have it now when we have a roast. We don't have it every Sunday anymore, but when we have it, we have to have Yorkshire pudding too.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not something that, because it's such an elaborate meal to put together. I mean, I remember my mum, she was up at early hours at morning getting Sunday dinner ready.
Yep. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Big meal at week, weren't it?
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to happen like that these days.
It was funny because when I was growing up, I didn't really appreciate it as much as I do now because, living here in Canada, that wasn't the norm. And I used to think it was weird that my family did that every Sunday. But, now I appreciate it.
Yes, Ellen, it is a Barnsley lad. I'm just responding to chat.
Hey, Helen. Yeah, Helen went down. Your Wi-Fi went, Siobhan. Oh.
Do you know, technology, you need it.
Yeah, it's hard to do without it, isn't it?
Well, I was just thinking nightmare scenario if ever all like them lovely little satellites ever pack up on us.
Right?
that are up in space doing all that transfer of data. We'd soon come to a grinding halt then, wouldn't we?
Yes, that's very true. And it makes you realize how dependent we are on electronics nowadays.
We have it, which is, mind you, in saying that, most computers and things like that these days are pretty much, if there were any sort of magnetic field problem, most electronic devices are magnetically sealed now. So it probably, an electromagnetic storm or anything like that probably wouldn't damage it,
That's true.
which is a good thing.
Yes, it is.
I mean, what panic were caused, I don't know about in Canada, but look what panic were caused in Millennium in 2000 when they thought that all
Yep.
computers were going to crash.
Oh, yeah,
No,
that was a big thing over here for sure. It was. Yeah. Of course, nothing happened, but
I know
my
IT
husband said nothing would happen.
No, in most cases it wouldn't, but I would imagine there would have been critical systems, if they didn't deal with it, would have crashed.
Yeah.
And that would mean like not being able to go on as booked flight or something like that. But absolute critical systems always have fail-safes in them.
Helen said she's lived in Barnsley for over 40 years. Hey, Jane Marge.
Ah.
So maybe you've got a neighbor there.
There you go. We're in Barnsley, Ellen.
Hey, Sylvia. Glad you're here. All right, I've got the glossy accents on these tiny little things, so I'm going to click over on Ian now, and you can watch his art. It looks amazing so far, Ian.
The boring thing about watercolors is you have to get a little. Oh, Smithies. All right. I mean, Bolton-on-Dearne. Just on outskirts of Barnsley. Sleepy little village. But we're all getting focused for big match later. So you're lucky.
For the World Cup?
Yeah, World Cup match. We're playing a couple of hours' time. So
nice.
Woo!
Well, here's hoping.
So I think what I need to do is start. Oh, R2D2 was talking to me.
She said her sister lives in Wombwell. Is that how you pronounce that?
Oh, well, yeah.
Darla said she's going to be watching the game too.
I will. I go down to Balti Palace at Wombwell for a nice curry. Oh, lovely.
I love curry.
And I'm quite partial to chicken pasanda, which is it's mild, but it's got a really nice flavour.
I like a mild curry, not a strong curry.
No, I think it's. My wife likes a slightly stronger curry, but she got one a few weeks ago, and she just couldn't eat it at all. It was that hot.
Oh.
It was just, and I tried a bit of it, it would just blank my mouth out. I thought, what's the point in eating this?
Yeah.
You can't taste it. It's like
zapping
your mouth.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No.
You want to enjoy your food.
Chicken tikka, what?
Oh,
Pashwari?
chicken tiki marsala, yeah.
Chicken tikka. This is Peshwari, isn't it? Peshwari. Is that like a nutty one?
Oh,
'Cause you can get
I've not had that, Siobhan.
Peshwari naan bread.
Oh, I love naan bread.
Mm. But the only thing on my mind at the moment, food-wise, is ice cream because it's boiling hot. Even Barnsley's had an heat wave.
Naan bread, I love it.
Naan bread. Mm.
So good.
But
I like coconut things too with curry, coconut curry type of things.
You probably you might have heard of it. A korma.
Yep.
A chicken korma. That's quite coconutty.
Yep.
Chicken tikka masala is slightly coconutty, but it's a bit more tomatoey.
Yep. I do like Indian food. My husband is not a fan of Indian food, so we don't make it much. I like butter chicken too. My son got me hooked on Indian food.
I didn't really like it at first, but you build a taste for it, don't you?
Yeah.
And now I can't have chicken when it's plain now. In saying that has introduced me to things like Mexican chicken and stuff like that, and southern fried chicken. You know,
I
what's a
love
bit
Mexican too.
Poor chicken. We do take some, give some hammer them poor chickens.
Well, I think I have to set these wings aside to dry, so I don't know if I'm going to get them assembled, but I'll do a video later with the assembly of them.
I'm going to bring my image up now because I'm forgetting what it is I'm supposed to be painting.
Oh.
You know, sometimes it's good. It's good not to have an image in front of you. Because you can get too locked into the actual painting itself.
Yes, you can.
Into
Siobhan
the
said, is
image.
Ian trying to make us hungry or what?
I know. Well, I'm just thinking about the great big bowl of ice cream I'm going to have in a bit.
Nice. Well, yeah.
As big as I can get. 2 liters if I need to, because I need to cool down. I just put it on my head and just let it run down onto my face and eat what comes down.
Well, now, if you're going to pour it on yourself, that we need to see on video.
Oh, no. No, I won't waste so much ice cream. I'm going to take it out at bowl if I need to.
Yorla said it's 12 there and everybody's talking food. She's starving. Yeah, it's lunchtime here and dinner time in the UK. So yeah. Ian, order us all a takeaway, Siobhan said.
For another hour at takeaway. You might be lucky. You might get a pizza shop that might be open. I can't eat pizzas because I don't like cheese for some strange reason.
Really?
No, I'm not keen on cheese at all. Too cheesy.
Yep. Cheese is cheesy, that's true.
It's incredibly cheesy.
Okay,
it's the cheesiest cheese I know.
I seem to have a bit of a clog now in my glossy accents, as I do sometimes.
Do you put a pin in the top of the thing?
Yeah.
To stop it from...
Yeah. And I've also got one of the caps that you can put on with the long,
The
thin
long,
tube. Of course, it's on my other one at the moment. I have a tiny bit left in. So I'm going to switch that over later and put it on this one. But it stops the clogging.
It's not easy to get it to exactly go around at the same height without it blobbing.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's why things like that get put on by machines. What, if they're doing it industrially, because as humans we tend to make little bits of mistakes like that. But that's the uniqueness of handmade things. If it's got a little blob in it, that's its unique feature.
Ooh, Helen said she's having homemade quiche for tea, followed by homemade fresh cream strawberry and raspberry pavlova. Oh,
Pavlova. Ooh, nice.
Now that's a meringue dish, correct?
Is
it a meringue dish?
I think it has got. Oh, are you thinking it's in there? I'm not sure.
Yes, Helen said it is. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. I'll leave it to experts because I'm no expert on what food's what. In saying that, Yorkshire pudding.
Yep.
They are actually a sweet and not a savoury.
Really?
Yes.
See, I'm all for Yorkshire pudding. If it wasn't so fattening on a daily basis, I'd have Yorkshire pudding because I love it that much.
I regularly have it with a drizzling of sugar on it or a bit of lemon curd.
Oh, yes.
And then a blob of ice cream in middle.
Yes. Okay, now you're just tormenting me.
I know. Yeah. Well, I can't find what I'm looking for.
Oh, Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, I have to mention that to my hubby and go, hey, let's have it for a dessert one day, not just with roast.
What are your supermarkets over in Canada?
Various ones. We have one here called an Independent, President's Choice, Loblaws. We don't have Tesco here, like you guys have there, and in Ireland they have Tesco too.
Tesco's over in the Americas, and I include you're in the Americas. That's Walmart.
Walmart, yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah. Walmart is Tesco's. Huh.
Yeah, Walmart owns Tesco's.
Oh, or Tesco's. Okay, yeah. We have Walmart.
Yeah,
there's many different.
They actually own Tesco's, Walmart.
You know what I wish we had here that you guys have there is an Aldi.
Yeah, it's all right, Aldi.
Yeah, I liked it when I was there.
Yeah. We bemoan the demise of the other one. What used to be there? What did they call them? It was before Aldi's, but it were a European company, but it was the same kind of thing.
Walmart owns Asda? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they own both of them. Asda and Tesco's.
I did not know that. Wow, people are still talking about food. Everybody's going to be eating when they leave here.
Oh, well. Right, I wish I could find. Oh, no. Is it in reference images? That's it.
Okay.
Sorry for this short delay. I've got to find my reference image.
Well, I'll click on me for a second while you're looking for that.
No, it's
I've got the little wings all glossy accented, and I've added a few of the white crushed seashells and a little bit of blue glitter. And this is just generic glitter. It's not any specific brand or anything. And then now I'm working on the little circles.
I'll be back in just.
Yeah, I'm working on these little circles, and I'm just putting glossy accents on them. For some reason, I've got a clog here, which I just really hate about glossy accents. It happens so often. What I'm going to do is the same type of thing. I'm going to add sequins and beads and glitter and things like that to this. And then I'm going to take my rhinestone trim here, and I'm just going to go around the edge of that. And I've also got some rhinestones here that I can cut on this piece of mesh here. Oh, and I also wanted to remind you guys too that Craft Supplies for You has a 30% off store-wide sale going on right now. I'm sure you guys all saw the design team's videos. So we've all done a video about the sale, and the flowers at KS4U are always 20% off, and now with the 30% off store-wide sale, they're actually 50% off. So that is an amazing deal to get your flowers half price. And she's got paper and fabric there too. So, and the coupon code for the store is July 4, all lowercase. And the links to Craft Supplies for You are in the description box as well. So you can check that out. And that sale's on till the 8th of July. Okay, well, I think what I'm going to do is cut that tip because I'm taking this lid off later anyway. Let's see if that gets rid of the blob. See if that helps. Yep. You don't want to do like a super heavy coat of the glossy accents. You want to be able to have it dry in a decent amount of time, but and I did glue these circles onto the muslin because I like to have the back on them. You could also glue them onto some felt as well. Did you find what you were looking for, Ian?
Yeah.
Let me click on you and you can show. There you go.
It's our first attempt in Britain at a rocket that's going to go into space, although I doubt it'll get that far.
Now, what are the flavors on that? Because that looks delicious. I want to guess pineapple,
strawberry, orange, and some sort of lemony flavor.
Nice.
I'm going to just put it on my head for 5 minutes. Oh. Here we go.
Oh, what's the temperature there, Ian?
I don't know. Hot. Once we get above 20 degrees, we just say it's hot.
Yeah.
I can have a look. Like, if you keep quiet, I'll just ask Google.
Okay. Google knows all.
What temperature is it in Bolton-on-Doon?
In Bolton-on-Doon, it's mostly sunny and 23, with sun and a high of 23 in the forecast.
Did you hear that?
Yep, 23, yep.
There you go. Apparently it's 23.
Now, I know that's hot for over there, but that's not that hot for here. That would be beautiful weather here. But yes, I know you're not used to it, so that would make it very hot there.
It's more humidity.
Yeah.
You just wet through all the time.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. Right, let's see if this can cool me down a bit. Well, I can say the red bit's nice.
I love strawberry. Siobhan said, Ian, tell Google to order a takeaway.
Oh, it'll go to most expensive place in country and order a takeaway. And then you have a bill for who knows how much.
I love fritters too.
No fritters.
Yeah.
Spam fritters. Lovely.
I love them.
Does anybody put what do they call it on it? Batter.
Oh, I would think, yeah.
Yeah. Well, some people don't put batter on it. A proper spam fritter should have batter on it.
I think that a fritter is different from country to country. You know that? Because here we have apple fritters that you can get like everywhere. And they're deep fried, but they don't have a batter on them. They're like a dough, like you would fry a donut kind of thing.
Oh, that's
and they have chunks of apple and cinnamon in them.
Wheat fritter, isn't it? Like an apple fritter,
Yeah.
or that's a different thing. The thing I'm thinking of is spam.
Oh, spam.
Yeah. But we're not talking about repetitive emailing.
My husband and I are big Monty Python fans. But you can get potato fritters too.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
And just on the subject of a colloquial English food that you can have, it's like a potato fritter, but on top of it, it's got fish that's been minced up into bits and added to mashed up potato. So you've got a fritter, a thin fritter of potato that's whole, and then on top of it, you have this minced up part, and then you dip that in batter, and it's a fish cake.
Yummy.
That's lovely.
I love fish. My husband's not a big fish, unless it's fish and chips, then. Yes.
I've got to say, I'm not a massive fish fan because it's a bit too fishy for me. But I will eat a nice piece of cod.
Yeah.
Or if we are out on a place to do, like a wedding or something, I will force myself to eat a little bit of salmon or something like that. You know,
yes. We have very good salmon here. Canadian salmon's very good.
Oh, well, yeah. Top at range, isn't it, Canadian salmon?
Yeah.
And I was talking with a friend, I don't know whether you'll know her or not, Eve Bolt.
I'm sorry?
Eve Bolt, she's a watercolorist from Canada.
No, I haven't seen her. You'll have to share her link with me later and I'll go check out her channel.
Yeah, because she's really good. She does lives as well. So,
oh, fantastic. Yeah, definitely. Yes, I love to share more Canadian crafters.
Yeah, there's quite a few about it. It's just that over here we think they're American. Because they've got a slight American accent, which you haven't. But I know.
No offense.
To the uninitiated, it sounds a little bit American.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
On the borders, It's difficult.
I'm near the border too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm about 4.5 hours from the Niagara Falls border.
Oh, so you're on East Coast then?
Yeah.
Right. So you're not that far away from New York State then?
No, probably about 5-6 hours to get down to downtown New York, but New York State would be probably, I think the last time I went, it was about 5 hours.
Right.
And that was in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I was in upstate New York, and then in 2014, I was in Missouri.
Excuse me. So is east side of Canada mainly the British side? Or does it go
Well,
like?
Quebec is right above where I am in Ontario, and that's the French portion of Canada. And then when you go further east to Nova Scotia and Newfoundland and things like that, there's a very, very large Irish population there.
Yeah.
And there's parts of Newfoundland that their accent is so heavy that you can barely understand them. They've got a even thicker than my Irish friends' accent, believe it or not. A very strong Irish accent. And then the rest of Canada is basically, talks like me.
Right.
Except for when you get further north into the territories, and then you have Indigenous people who have a bit of a different language. But we have a lot of.
What would you call an Indigenous Canadian?
Just that, an Indigenous Canadian.
Yeah, but are they the same as Indians in America?
Yes, but we call them Native or Indigenous people here.
Are they similar to Inuits who are from polar regions?
Yes, we have Inuit people in the Northern Territories and in the Yukon. And then here where I am, and most of Canada, there is reservations. We have a reservation that's about half an hour from us, which is where the Ojibwe people live.
Yeah.
And they have, in this area, it's mainly Ojibwe here. And then when you get further out west, you get Iroquois, Haida, all the different groups.
Do you ever get to see any of their native art stuff?
Oh, yes. We, I grew up around it. Where I grew up, my sister and I were kind of the odd people out. We were the Irish, English, white people, and it was mostly natives that I grew up with as my friends. So, yes, we've been to the reservation many times. We have native artwork in our home, actually.
You'd love it in Basel because there's loads of Irish people. In fact, there's 2 or 3 Irish pubs, if not 4 or 5.
Oh, nice. Hey, Vi. She said another Canadian just popped in to say hi. Yay, Violet. How are you? No, it hasn't cooled down here, hon. It is hot, hot, hot. And Wednesday, it's supposed to be like the hottest day of the year so far. So
I wonder if you're sending us lots. We've noticed in Atlantic there's a right big high at the moment, and it's splitting the jet stream in 2.
Oh, really?
That's why we're getting loads of hot weather.
Somebody's messaging me.
I think it's Earth being heated up by that volcano.
Oh, yes, I would think, yeah. That's terrible.
It will have had an effect on atmosphere, that, definitely.
Yes, I would think so. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yes, I wish you could send some coolness here, Violet. It was 47°C with the humidex on Saturday.
Ooh.
It's painful.
And it's not just that. I mean, there's people now who've never suffered with chest problems and things like that, who are finding it hard to breathe because
Yeah.
of, because of pollen and all that sort of stuff and what have you. So they're getting double whammied, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
I've nearly done with this already.
Oh. All right, I'm just going to click on me for a minute. Okay, so I've got the glossy accents on these, and I've added some little rhinestone and some of these little pink seed beads. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edge with some of my rhinestone trim, and that's super easy to do. All you do is you take your glossy accents again, and you just go around the edge. And this is why it's good to put these on a piece of scrap fabric or felt or muslin or whatever you're going to use. And then they can dry on here, and then you just cut them out when they're dry. Makes it much, much easier. So you're just going to go around the edge, and then you take your, I'm just going to turn it this way so I don't stick my hands, which I just stuck my finger in there, of course. I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to wind it around. And you just want to make sure that it's turned the right way. And you set it down right inside that glossy accents, and that will dry. Now, the other thing that you can do is if you've just got regular rhinestone trim like this, you can color your rhinestone trim with your alcohol inks, and you can change the color. I don't know. Oh, I do. I have this one. This one is pink sherbet, and this is what, minus the drip, that it looks like. Hey, Anastasia. But if you just put this on top of your rhinestone, you can color your rhinestone, and it does not come off because it's alcohol based. It dries instantly and it colors it. So you can change the color to anything you like by using alcohol inks. So little tip there.
So what's your favorite media then to use?
I really am one of those people that just loves to do everything. I love doing mixed media. I love making canvases. I love paper crafting. I love doing things with fabric. I'm a sewer. You know, I like to try everything. So, because I figure why not try it, you know?
When you say making canvases, do you mean actually making a canvas?
Oh, not making the actual canvas itself, but I mean like doing mixed media on top of a canvas.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's not actually that hard to do if you want to ever have a go at it. Stretching a canvas.
No, they're not that hard to do. So
Fair
there
enough,
is
it's
that.
time-consuming, but I don't know whether it's more or less expensive to do it. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
I don't know. It might be cheaper, but then you'd have to buy the wood and, you know,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
If you did it in bulk, I would imagine it would be slightly cheaper.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you bought a big roll of canvas and then, yeah, that probably would be true. Thanks, Kim.
The only time it's valid and relevant to do it and make your own is if there's a size that you can't get. You know, there's always that one size you want, and they want to charge an arm and a leg.
That's true.
Because
you always want what you can't get, right?
Yeah. And you think, well, you might as well make it yourself.
exactly.
And I have done it in the past. In fact, I've got a great big canvas, a metre by a metre square,
All right.
hanging around, not doing nothing. So I'm due to. I think I'll get it prepped up and do a large abstract acrylic at some point.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I haven't done one. I haven't worked in my art journal for a while, so I'd like to do that one day soon. Maybe on a live.
What's your favourite size to work at? I'm more a journal person.
My journal is the big one by Diane Reevely, which I know doesn't help you at the moment. It's rather large, really, but sometimes it's nice to work in small. You know, I like doing small canvases. So it kind of varies for me, I think, you know, depending on my mood, I want to say, you know?
Sometimes it's about whether you've got a mindset that says, yeah, I'm happy to have a go at this particular piece of artwork at that size. You know,
Yeah.
but having a bit of courage with it.
I find really, really super big a little daunting, you know?
Well, way I overcame that is thinking, well, if canvas is going to be big, make all your tools big, and it's just a matter of scale. Then,
Yes, it is. That's a good point.
And then I mean, if I were to use my normal size brushes, let's say like something like that, on a big piece of watercolor paper, I'd be there all day. I'd be there weeks with it. So alternatively, what you do is you get your big guns out.
Right.
Like, let's have a look, see if I can find it.
Yeah,
No, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use that.
Oh yeah, right. Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Get a big brush instead of, and it's that equals that when you're working big.
Now, is there a certain kind of brush that you prefer, Ian?
Well, at the moment, I'm going for these quill brushes for watercoloring.
Right.
And I don't know if everybody knows what quill brushes are, but I'll just get another type of brush that isn't a quill brush, and I'll show you the difference. Yeah, for example, I know it's a different type of brush. This I don't know. Let me just move things out of the way so I know that it's in. Oh, go away. Oh, there you go. Right, this one, if you look, it has a metal ferrule that holds the bristles in.
Yeah.
It don't matter what's inside it, but most brushes have metal ferrules, and that's a normal standard. That's a normal standard brush. Well, many hundreds of years ago, before they had that system, they used to have these, and they're called quills, and they used to be made from the feather, the hard part of the feather.
Oh yes, yes.
What they used to do, one half of it they used as a pen, and other half they used to make a quill. And that's what these are, the modern versions of quills. So they've got like a plastic round them, and that's what holds the brush in place.
Okay.
And I'm tending to use these at the moment. They're called pointed mops, because you can use them.
Oh right, yes. I find those better for watercolor too, with the point on them.
Yeah, a pointed mop, because you can literally do very, very fine work at the tip, but then again, you can get a big slop of paint and go across with very versatile brushes. I wouldn't recommend them for anything other than watercolor, though. I can't imagine they'd be any good with acrylics or heavy body paints because they give way a little bit too easily. Yeah, alternatively, brushes I do like using when I'm not using things like that are things like this, which is a dagger stroke sword brush.
Yes. Yeah.
They're a very good brush.
I find anything with a point like that for watercoloring is good for shading and things like that.
Yeah.
Or any kind of painting, really. Even using acrylic.
Well, what you want with an acrylic brush is something that can hold up to the heavy body of the paint.
Right.
So you veer towards almost like oil painting brushes, hog air brushes. I don't know if people still use hog air, but the plastic synthetic brushes that are made specifically for acrylic, obviously the ones to go for with acrylic.
Right. Yeah, I used to do folk art painting. That's one of the first things I started doing, and I always found the angle brushes were the best for that too.
What's that, Pearl? And what's that, Anton?
Hey, Dorinda. Would Ian sketch Marie Antoinette sometime? Would love to see it done.
Marie Antoinette?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't got no visual. You'd have to send me a visual reference of her.
She was the French queen.
She was.
During the French Revolution. She was actually beheaded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did she want it post or pre-beheading?
Probably pre-beheading.
They had very elaborate clothing, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
They were very Rococo period.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah.
I always get I'm a bit dyslexic with this period of time. It's either Baroque or Rococo period. Very high detailed.
Yes, and she was quite the fashion icon of her time, but you know, she wasn't good to her people, unfortunately.
No. Let them eat cake.
She actually never said that, strangely, but
it's one that's connected to her, isn't it?
It is one that's connected to her, absolutely, but she never actually said it. But it was it does kind of describe her because that's sort of, she was spending money on herself and, you know, her royal court rather than her people who were starving. So that was a lot of what the French Revolution was about. And her husband was arrested and beheaded first. And then she was put in prison for years. And then
at least we got a decent musical out of it.
Well, I think that a lot of her popularity in the craft community too was her fashion sense, really. I mean, she was a trailblazer in that sense for her time.
Yeah, she was very high. And France at the time, strangely enough, were the very focal point of fashion as well, weren't it?
Well, it still is, isn't it?
To some extent, yeah. I mean, look at a recent, not the recent royal wedding, but the royal wedding of William.
Yeah.
His bride her dress, the lace was made in France and made in France, weren't it?
Yeah.
And there's still a massive tradition over there of doing all that kind of stuff.
Yes, it is.
So good for them.
Glad you're back, Jane Marge.
It's good to keep crafts up like that. I'm always, you know, if I ever see anybody out and about doing any crafts like that, I always try to encourage them to keep going at stuff like that, because it's important. It's part of our heritage, creative heritage,
Well,
all
it
of
is. Yeah.
and I can't imagine it's easy to have to do these things, because we tend to take the easy route and, you know, go out and buy something that's been made by a machine.
Yep. Yes, it's good to make everything by hand, I think, if you can. But I mean, for myself too, I mean, I buy store-bought things. Everybody does, but
We haven't got time to be. I'll just show you something that I made myself. I'm quite proud of.
Okay.
See if I can find it.
Darrell says your painting is looking awesome, Ian.
Well, thank you. It probably won't get finished today, but
No, mine aren't going to either. In fact, we've been on for an hour and a half now.
so
Time goes by fast.
it does. Trying to resolve a problem. Some people don't like the idea of animal fur being used in brushes, and that's a valid point. You know, none of us want to see animals being hurt in any way. So I thought, I wonder how I can resolve having natural hair in a brush and it not involve animals. So I asked Mrs. Jackson for some of her hair. She was having her hair cut. So bring me some hair back, and then it's done by someone who's made a choice to give their hair. So no one can say that's animal cruelty.
That's a great idea.
And I've had a go at doing one. It's like an inverted point brush.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, now, was that really like a lot of work and hard to do to put that together?
Oh,
get it in the.
I watched a video on. There's a lot of videos on how to make Japanese sumi brushes, and I use that technique, the layering them. But I thought about taking it to a brush. I thought about taking it to a brush company and seeing whether they could, because you could market that as being a natural hair brush.
Now, do you find that it works good, or?
Oh yeah, it works just like any other brush. I mean, it's naive in the sense that I've not been able to get the absolutely fantastic point that, you know, a proper brush manufacturer would be able to get. They've got all the tools and the equipment. Apart from that, it works great.
Oh, that's fantastic. How cool is that?
So, but I tell you what, some people use brush-wise ends of big feathers.
Yeah.
That's one that sometimes gets used. But I just thought that was a good idea from the viewpoint that gives people who have a conscience over natural hair, they can actually use something like that, because it in no way harms any animal. In fact, it's a good thing that my wife got her hair cut.
That is cool. I like that idea.
So, right, let's move on a little bit and get some lemony bits in. I can imagine this is going to be a fairly complicated painting.
Yeah, all that detail in the armor and everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep it fairly light in background so as not to compete too much with the main thing, the knight on the horse. So I'm being ever so careful what I'm doing.
One of the things I used to love to draw when I was a kid was horses.
I spent years, books and books and books, drawing horses. And even to this day, I still find it a challenge. Getting the right proportions.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say I would love to have you on again with my daughter, because my daughter is also an artist and does painting and things like you do. So I'd love to have you both on.
Yeah, you'll have to set it up. So is she also in Canada? Yeah.
Yeah, she is. So she's on the same time as me.
All right. Well,
I'll talk to her and see. But she would get a kick out of being on with you, I'm sure.
What does she do? Is she an animal art painter or?
She pretty much does anything, and she's also a poet. She's been published. She's a writer. She's very, very talented, my daughter. Not that I'm biased or anything, but all my kids are talented.
If a person's talented, you've got to praise them for it at the end of the day, regardless of who they are.
But she loves to paint and draw, and so yeah, she would probably really love it. Anastasia says, "LOL, you're a cat bird, Ian."
I'm a cat bird. What's a cat bird?
I'm not sure. Maybe somebody who watches things from afar, and I'm not sure though. You'll have to explain that, Anastasia.
Or is it a typo? Do you mean I'm a cat burglar?
Oh.
No.
That's funny. So is anybody else doing any art today? Anybody else crafting? I've almost got one of these finished here, so I can show it. Let's see here what we've got. Yes, so sorry about your mom, Debbie. No mojo, Helen. I think your pets might have stolen your mojo, Helen, with all them in your craft room all the time. They might have stolen it from you, maybe. Helen posts the funniest pictures of her pets in her craft room. She said, "It means you're a little ornery." Sorry, West Virginia. I think that means WV is West Virginia slang. It means you're a little ornery.
I'm not.
Amanda's making birthday cards, and Kim said she'll be in her craft room later. Cool.
So what's an ornery?
Ornery means a little feisty.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we're just Barnsley. Just us.
I'm just going to click on me for a sec. They're not 100% dry, but they're getting there. And here is this pink one that I did, and I've layered it. I've got the little antenna on it. I've got the tiny little layer there. And then I've put a very, very tiny little rhinestone flower in the center, and you can see it has a bit of dimension there. So these are cute to add to any kind of project, or if you're a card maker, they'd be so adorable on the front of a card. Or
Nice
anything like that.
So, is there any
sorry, go ahead.
Is there any process that you'd do if you were going to make it into a brooch prior to that? Or
probably if I made this into a brooch, I would print it on fabric, I think, and then back it onto some felt.
Right.
I don't think I'd use glossy accents, and I would probably sew on the beads in the sequins.
So it's a bit more robust.
Yeah, so it'd be a bit of a different process than using paper. I don't know. I guess you could wear a paper brooch. I think with the glossy accents on it, it would be fairly sturdy. Like the stuff would not fall off of it.
If you put PVA glue on the paper first and let it harden and dry, it would be a strong enough thing to work off, wouldn't it?
Yeah, PVA glue would work too. It doesn't give the gloss as much as glossy accents do.
I just mean as a backbone for the actual thing for the glossy accent.
Yeah. Yeah, it could do.
Firm the card up.
I'll try that one day. I have PVA glue, so I'll try that one day.
Obviously, you'd have to leave it for 24 hours to harden and dry.
Yeah. Yeah, these are going to be drying probably all day, and because it's so hot, even though I'm in air conditioning, it'll probably take overnight to get nice and dry.
Yeah, well, I mean, good practice with most glues is 24 hours to be sure, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is. It is. So
you know,
what I'll do is I'll do a video and show you guys all of the butterflies, and of course these pieces when they're finished and they're all dry and everything. And the other thing I want to say too before we close out is the drawing for my giveaway on my channel. I'm going to try and get that done either today or tomorrow. It was a long weekend here, and it was super hot, and you know, just we were barbecuing and things like that on the weekend, so I just did not get it done. And but that's going to happen either today or probably actually tomorrow. We'll see. It'll be either later today or tomorrow that I'll do the drawing for the pocket challenge that I had. And I want to thank everybody for entering because yeah, it's been super exciting and a fun challenge to have on my channel. And don't forget to go and subscribe to Ian. His channel is in the description box there too. Ian's given the thumbs up there. I'll click over on you. Thumbs up from Ian.
Yeah, thumbs up on YouTube as well.
Yes, and thumbs up if you can. But I think that's about it. Do you have anything you want to add, Ian? I'm clicked on you at the moment.
Apart from the fact that I've got so far done, I've got an important football match to go and prepare myself for. So I'm going to step away from it, come back with a fresh mind and finish the background off. And you'll see this picture in a few days' time up on the usual
fantastic.
that I post. So it will take a few days to get done this, I feel.
Yeah, it usually does for things like that. Now that'll take a day or so to dry properly too, won't it?
It's not bad with the drying. It's just you've got to be careful with working on top of slightly wet paper because it can cause problems. So I like to leave it to settle back down absolutely before I get another coat on it.
Yeah. Now, do you spray anything on top of that when you're finished?
Not unless absolutely necessary. Water. I mean, the only way you can really protect watercolor is by putting it behind UV protective glass when you frame it, which is the proper way to do it. I do have little twin shays that are mounted onto card, and they're not meant to go in a frame. So what I've done there is I've spray varnished it, and then because it can get a bit sticky spray varnish, I've just waxed over it, and that makes them fine. And that's what I use to protect them.
Cool.
So a little bit of spray varnish. Don't ever brush it on, because it'll make your paint reactivate. Spray varnish, one minimal coat, and then some wax.
Oh, okay.
If you're not putting any, because it's an acrylic, the spray, it can be sticky, and if you put anything on top of it, it'll stick. So the reason why I put the wax on it, which is this, it's polish that you put on your tables when it needs a bit of a polish.
Oh.
So get some of that, and over the top of your acrylic that you've sprayed, rub it into it, and it stops it from being sticky.
Oh, okay. That's a great tip. Thank you for that, Ian.
Yeah, and that's a natural, kind of natural way of...
so beeswax would probably be good then too.
Yeah, but you can get beeswax in little blocks, but make sure that it's completely clear, the wax. You don't want to be putting beeswax in that's had colorant put in it.
It has to be natural beeswax.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ian, and thank you so much for being on today. It was so much fun, and please go and check out Ian's channel and watch for his video of the finished painting, and I will also do a video with my finished embellishments. So thank you all for coming, and I will see you guys very soon. I hope you're all staying cool where you are.
We'll try to, or we'll eat a load of lollies dying.
Yes, you've got your lollies, so you